Well, looks like I'm live. I'm trying to share this PowerPoint presentation. Let's see here if I can get it fired up. Uno momento. Bear with me, please. Okay. I think I got it. I think it's going to work. Okay. Whoops. I've lost permission to capture the screen, of course. Now it wants me to leave the site and it won't be saved. Wow. Wow. Okay. All right. It's going south so far. So what we'll do is we might skip the PowerPoint presentation. Is that how I'd make this work? Huh. It might be true. Well, all right. Let's bring this sucker up and talk about it. So let's focus on the ear position of a dog. And this is important basically to anyone that deals with dogs because it helps you understand really how the dog thinks or how the dog might be experiencing something in the moment, which can alter your approach or should, depending. So when we look at the anatomy of a dog's ears, there's actually different types. So there's floppy, there's the straight up ears, and the semi straight up or semi erect, they call those. And there's lots of individual muscles controlling those ears, especially compared to a human. So in the floppy eared category, think of something like a basset hound, cocker spaniel, bloodhound. When you get into the erect ears or the straight up and down ones, straight up, we're thinking German Shepherd, Siberian Husky, Chihuahuas. And for the semis, this is dogs like collies or Shetland sheepdogs, border collies, Australian Shepherds, even where they're kind of up. Some can be, but a lot are kind of like right in the middle, where they're kind of up with a little bend, I guess. So each type can contribute to a breed's unique appearance, and it actually could have some functional advantages. So, for instance, with the Basset Hound or for scent tracking breeds, the ears can actually uh, really help when it comes to trying to pick up that scent. All right. Um, the way the ears are shaped. And then for other breeds like shepherds, directional hearing. Okay. So they're able to kind of turn the ears almost like satellite dishes to tune in exactly to what they're trying to listen to. And what's interesting is they can do it independently of one another, which is also pretty cool. All right. So when it comes to dogs specifically, there's 18 muscles in each ear, which allows that independent movement. Whereas when we're looking at humans, humans have only about six. When I say about, I really mean six. All right. For the ear movement, dogs can rotate, tilt, raise, lower the ears to express emotions, gather information about the environment. Humans, really, we could just kind of move our ears maybe a little bit, and even that's rare, although they are pretty good for hearing. So back to dogs. All right. Ear position is vital for how they communicate. Where for humans, most of us aren't looking at each other's ears when we talk to each other. But if you're handling dogs, you might want to start training yourself to give more attention to the ears. So, what do the erect ears typically indicate? And this is for any dog breed because even if your dog doesn't have like straight up ears, if the ears are floppy, they can still lift them slightly. Okay, so that would be the best of your dog's version of that. And so, what that means is usually alertness, your dog's interested, they are super, intrigued by something and want to see what that's all about. Can also be a warning and a way to appear bigger. Also, could be linked to dominance or pack leader behavior. Now, when the ears go backward, right? And they turn back. This is usually submission, a fear sign. It's going to mean uncertainty, things of that nature. Now, when they're relaxed, it typically means the dog's relaxed, right? They're content. Now, when they go sideways, this is usually about curiosity, or if they are uncertain, it's not too uncertain, right? So a lot of people would think, well, when a dog's ears are back, that's fearful or scared. But remember, it could also mean submissive, or doesn't need to be showing off in that moment, right? So oftentimes when a dog's listening, you might see those ears kind of go back. So context does matter, right? So if a dog's ears are backward, but the tail is like really stiff, they might be fearful, but they might also be thinking of biting. So some dogs, when they're fearful, will freeze, others will attack, when they're backed into a corner. So you might want to consider how the context plays in. And then overall situation, environment, the dog's individual personality, like all that's going to play into trying to read the ears as body language, right? When you're trying to interpret what your dog's thinking or feeling. So how can this be used to actually improve the relationship with your dog? Well, you can spend time observing your dog and learning from your dog, and kind of looking to see how the ears change depending on what's going on, okay? And you can start to get a clearer picture of how that depicts their personality. And as we're talking about the picture, make sure you look at the whole picture. And I know we're just focusing on ears right now, but again, think of the dog's hackles, right? Like the hair on their back. Is that standing straight up? Is it relaxed? Like that's going to come into play too when it comes to the ears. So maybe you think the dog's ears are relaxed, but if the hackles are up, they might not be that relaxed. So be aware that it's really easy to misread a dog's body language, because a lot of people that taught us weren't pros. They weren't out there in the field working with dogs every day, except maybe their own. And so sometimes that knowledge is very limited. So be aware of that, right? So think of this. A service dog in training consistently pins the ears back. And someone might say to themselves, okay, this dog's scared, during certain times of training. So what can we do to alleviate that, make the dog more comfortable? Another situation might be, you're in the agility ring and you notice at certain times the dog's ears perk up during certain commands, giving full attention. And this can help fine tune the training to find the areas maybe the dog isn't so into or isn't so focused, to try to get that speed up and higher. Or if it's something where the dog's overexcited and not listening, okay, maybe we need to tone the dog down. But that's how you can kind of use the ears to change or basically modify your current training approach. All right, so I'm trying to wrap this thing up. When you're looking at your dog's ears, it's a way to help you understand your dog better, so you can communicate better and take some of that guesswork away. At the end of the day, none of us will really know exactly what the dog's thinking or saying. With people, you can hear what they're saying, but sometimes the meaning might not be always what we're interpreting it as. And just like you can't, necessarily read a human's mind, we can only guess and interpret. But it's much easier to read a human's mind when you understand the body language. So if someone's crying versus smiling usually means something different. However, there could be tears of joy, right? So you got to base it on the context. Did they just win the lotto and they're crying? Or did maybe their dog get sick and they're crying? Okay, you got to read the context with it for sure. So if anyone has any questions about this presentation, if you're confused about anything I've said, because I am maybe a little tired and slightly fighting a headache. However, you can always find us at ciadogtraining.com and check out any of the programs we have to offer. Hopefully this thing worked. I have no idea if it picked up the audio or not, but hopefully it did. All right, boys and girls, happy training. Remember, the more you train, the more you gain. See you in the future.